we were all over the community, and we talked to some people that had some concerns about maybe the placement of the arena. The arena is a big issue for a lot of families in our community. So I'm going to let you watch this clip, and then we'll have time to discuss it.
Sure, great.
What is it about the development that maybe you're not sure about, or something maybe you'd want to change?
There's one thing that I'm definitely sure about. I'm a hockey parent, and there's a lot of hockey parents here. To put the arena in that area is not feasible for a person who has to carry hockey bags and equipment, and I was a trainer as well, so carrying all that stuff across parking lots to get to an arena, that if you can find parking and everything else, it just doesn't make sense to me.
So what are your thoughts on the arena and it being downtown?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting comment that the lady makes, and it's so I'm glad that she made that comment, and I really do want to address it. First of all, when council looks at the downtown hub, which will include the new double ice pad arena, the library/cultural center, as well as possibly maybe one day a high school. We don't know that yet, but maybe one day. And of course the new main street in the town square. Everything we do in this community, council should be always looking at it from an economic standpoint. What is the economic driver behind what we're doing? And I would say this. I would say if you go across the country and you look at most towns and cities, but mostly towns, what you're going to see almost all the time is that their arenas, their libraries, their civic buildings are all in their downtown core. And the reason for this is because of the economic impact that they bring to the downtown core. You know, a lot of people have said we should be putting the arena out at the sports park. And the issue with that, there's several issues with that, but first of all, it's about 125 acres out there, of which 75+% is environmentally protected or in the floodplain. And so what we don't know, but we are highly doubtful of, is that the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry and or the Wasaga Valley Conservation Authority would even allow us to build it out there in that area where it's environmentally protected and in the floodplain. The other issue out there is that there's no gas out there at this time, and there's no water and sewer out that far at this time. So if we were going to build the arena out there and the sports entertainment complex out there, we'd have to move gas out there, water and sewer, which is millions of dollars, probably tens of millions of dollars, before we even put a shovel in the ground to build the arena. And that takes a lot of environmental studies, a lot of groundwork that takes years to get done before you can even begin to start to build. Our community needs the arena, and they need it now. And this council has been working on the arena and the hub, and I believe we can get it done in the downtown core within the first 2 years of this next council. She talked about parking. Please be rest assured that when council and staff, and let me really emphasize staff, we have great staff here who are experienced in this type of thing. And a council that has been clear to make sure that we're looking at all of the issues that could occur and any obstacles or roadblocks that we're going to have to try and get around. We've looked at parking, and we've looked at the amount of land we're going to require for this type of project. And we are confident that there is going to be ample parking, more parking than they have currently at the arena today. If you look on the plan, you will see that to the arena building, there's actually a loop that goes in. So you can actually go in, drop your kids off with their equipment right at the door. So they can, you know, lug that equipment in, and then you could go and park in the parking lot. It's also going to be built in the downtown area because there's a lot of insinuary parking around that as well. I mean, if you look across the road from where this will be at Stonebridge, there's a ton of parking there. And I'm sure that Stonebridge isn't going to have an issue with people parking there in overflow if we get to that point and going into the arena, because they know when they come out, they're going to be shopping in their restaurants, they're going to be shopping at Walmart, they're going to be shopping on Main Street in the stores and boutiques. And that's another big part of it, and it's the economic driver. So let's look at the sports park today. Summertime sports only. But when people from out of town come to the sports park, they usually come Highway 26, if they're coming from Collingwood, Thornbury, Meaford, and they come across the 12th concession to Klondike Park Road and a quick scoot up and they're into the sports park. If they come from Elmville Berry Way, they either come Highway 26 and straight up Klondike Park Road, or they might come across Floss Road 8. And some might come a little bit into town through River Road West and then out Veterans Way. And then when they leave, they go back the same way. So, I don't know about you, but I've had kids play hockey. I've had my kids in soccer and in baseball. And every time we finish a sport, we go and we have ice cream, or we go to the restaurant for dinner, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe it's gone out to do grocery shopping or shop for another set of cleats, or whatever the case may be. Those folks, when they leave the sports park, they do that. But they do it somewhere along the way back home. They never come through our town, and they don't spend a nickel in Wasaga Beach. We want people to be driving by as many of our businesses as we possibly can each and every chance we get, so as that the community is receiving the economic impact of having these types of facilities. And that is extremely important. The economic viability of our businesses is paramount in this community. We have a disproportionate share of residential tax versus commercial tax, and we need to get that back in line, or not back in line, but in line for the first time ever. We're at about 94.6, between 94.6 and 91.9 residential versus commercial. And we should be at 80-20 or 75-25 like many communities. The reason for that is that business tax is more expensive than residential tax, 1.6 to 2.4 times more. So what that does is it lessens the burden of municipal tax on the residential people who live here. And we want to always be working to do that. So economic impact is important, but this lady can be rest assured that we are not going to build a facility without having the ample parking required to facilitate people being able to come to and from that building. I have offered on a few occasions now to go out and speak to the Minor Hockey Association and their parents and members, as well as the Figure Skating Association, their parents and members, and anyone else who wants us to come out and talk about what it is we're planning to do and to answer all these types of questions. And so I'll put that out there now. We're still willing to do that, absolutely. And I think once we do that, we'll clear up a lot of their concerns.
That's wonderful, because having a new arena, functioning double pad arenas, is so important to a healthy community.
Absolutely.
So that's great.
And remember, this is not just a double ice pad arena. This is going to have a walking running track around the upper level, as many arenas do today. And one of those arenas are going to have between 3,000 and 5,000 seats in it, so as that we can have indoor concerts, we can have things like Disney on Ice, so as that there's things to do throughout the year for our full-time residents that we don't have today. And the same with the library. The plan is to have that a library/cultural arts center, and I think you'll see a 150 to 200 seat theater in there too, and hopefully we'll be able to attract companies like Dryden Entertainment and so on and so forth for more entertainment and things for people to do in town.
Well, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much for answering that question, and I hope that that woman has the right information now about the arena. So thank you.
I can tell you, each and every time I hear a lot of questions or comments around town, I always wish that folks would just call Town Hall,
yes.
Come in and see us, or reach out to a member of council and sit down and get the facts, because there's a lot of misinformation out in the community. And it's not just Wasaga Beach, it's any community, but we're going to give you the facts, and be rest assured we've got very high quality qualified staff that have experience in building downtowns, and we're not going to forget the most important parts, and those are not often what's inside the four walls, but outside and around those four walls.